The Knicks steal Game 1 here in San Antonio, their 12th straight win of these playoffs. I'm here with SNY NBA insider Ian Begley. Ian, the Knicks were down 14 points at one point. How did they get this one done?
It started with Jalen Brunson coming in the fourth quarter. Personal 8-0 run to close the gap, and then you saw what he did late. Just hit a few big shots, and then was the free throw making from the veteran Knicks and getting stops. So remarkable comeback, but something that Knicks fans are probably used to seeing at this point with Brunson, the way he operates in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's a shame, honestly. I have to admit that I didn't think they were going to come back, but if you've been following these Knicks all year, you know that they are a resilient team for sure. Let's talk about Karl-Anthony Towns. 18 points, 12 rebounds. What did he do to keep the Knicks in this game?
Yeah, first three quarters, because Brunson was struggling. I think he was 7 for 22 through three quarters, something like that, 1 for 8 from three. And the Knicks, as you said, they were down double digits in that third quarter, but Towns really kept them afloat, passing the ball extremely well. Defended Victor Wembanyama well, too.
Right.
And he's not known for his defense, Karl Towns, but the Knicks have been saying throughout this playoff run that he's defended really well. And Miles McBride said when he's locked in, meaning Towns, that's what you see from him, that kind of defense.
Also took Wemby to the rack a couple times too, so he was doing a lot on both ends. But now we look ahead to Game 2 on Friday. What do the Knicks have to do to try to steal both of these games on the road?
You know, Julian Champagnie, he really got going, the local kid, in the first half. Knicks ended up closing out on him better in the second half, but you probably want to pay more attention to him than they did in the first half. I think that's one thing. But take care of the ball the way they did. Second half, Mike Brown pointed out, just one turnover for New York in that second half. So if they can do that, if they can even out the rebounding battle, they should put themselves in a good position.
And continue to handle the physicality that these Spurs play with, right? Ian, thanks so much. Eamon, next time you'll have to join us out here in San Antonio. Back to you.
We are now joined by Mark Malusis and John Jastrzemski for more on the Knicks stealing Game 1 down in San Antonio. And you know what, fellas? We've talked about it for years. We've seen it game after game. But, JJ, this one tied at 86, 7:37 left. Brunson, 13 of the Knicks' final 19 points. It's amazing. We're used to it, but he's always going to find a way in the fourth.
Fellas, should they start playing Sandman in these fourth quarters when Jalen Brunson's doing his best version of Mariano Rivera? And it's crazy, Moose, because the first couple of quarters, Brunson is dealing with injuries, Brunson going back to the locker room. There was a point in the game he's 7 of 20, and he's incredibly inefficient. But no matter how badly it may be going, you just know in crunch time, he is going to be there. And at the end of this game, it was big shot after big shot. And after Wemby goes and gives San Antonio the lead, he goes and tips the offensive rebound, goes and bangs the three, brings the Knicks home, and it's something that we've seen for the better part of the last couple of years. It's what we've seen throughout this postseason. You can never count out Jalen Brunson, and Moose, this Knicks team, you can never count them out as well.
No, I mean, I think there's a couple of things that hit you. Not only, obviously, in everything that JJ said about Jalen Brunson's brilliance and, you know, the fact that he's able to will and overcome the early injury and physically hit his spots, get to his spots, and have ridiculous finishes, even when those shots are contested. But I think really the turning point of the game was at one point in time, third quarter, the San Antonio Spurs had a 14-point lead. At the end of the third quarter, that lead was gone, right? And so you went into that fourth quarter where all of a sudden you took a mammoth shot and the Knicks were right there. And then all of a sudden, as the minutes started weighing down, San Antonio's offense, they didn't exactly know where to go, and you knew exactly where the Knicks were going to go. And that was going to be the captain, Jalen Brunson. And by hook or by crook, even giving up the lead late, it was still Brunson and the Knicks closing out on an 11-0 run.
All right, Moose, you led me to my next question, because that was the critical point. Knicks were in the danger area, down by 14. Before they can get to the fourth, what was the key to them tying it up and getting back in the game?
Yeah, getting stops. I mean, if you look at the three regular season matchups, if you count the NBA Cup, right?
We do.
I mean, and so if you count that, right, the San Antonio Spurs and even in the Oklahoma City series have bad turnovers, right? And so the Knicks wanted to try and get some run out. So you saw some bad turnovers, whether it be Castle, whether it be Fox, empty possessions from the San Antonio Spurs, who offensively hitting threes in the first half, non-existent in half number 2 when you're looking at guys like Julian Champagnie. So Knicks tightened up defensively. They got a lot more efficient offensively, made it a white knuckler of a game, and they're able to finish with the captain.
So they did a better job with the perimeter defense. Excellent point. To me, it's about Karl-Anthony Towns. His offense willed the Knicks in that third quarter when Brunson was trying to find his footing. And I thought Cat's defense on Victor Wembanyama was tremendous. And if I got to give somebody an honorable mention, Josh Hart. How about got double-digit rebounds all over the place, getting the Knicks in transition. That's how you steal game one on the road.
The Knicks were a plus 22 when Josh Hart was on the court.
Unbelievable.
And that's his MO there, and a total team effort, too. Guys off the bench coming in and hitting some clutch shots during this one as well. We are now joined by Jonathan Macri, the dean of Knicks Film School. And Jonathan, Jalen Brunson was bruised and battered for much of this game. And while we're used to seeing it, how was he able to take over once again in the fourth quarter?
I mean, it was so appropriate because this game had the feel of a heavyweight prize fight where punchers are kind of feeling each other out early. Then you get San Antonio throwing the haymaker early in the third quarter. And, of course, the Knicks landed the final blows. Jalen Brunson is unlike any player in the NBA, not from a skill perspective. There are a ton of guys who can make shots, but you can't measure always is heart. And, you know, it's appropriate that Jalen Brunson, on the biggest stage of his career for the first time, leads the team in scoring in the fourth quarter when they absolutely needed to have a bucket down the stretch, hits that big corner three, which really put them ahead, and it was a lead that they would never look back on.
Karl-Anthony Towns with another playoff double-double, 18 and 12. But, Jonathan, what was more impressive, his offense or his defense?
Well, Wemby couldn't get anything going on him, and I think one of the question marks heading into the series is which Knick was going to predominantly defend Victor Wembanyama. Would it be OG Anunoby, as we saw at times during the regular season, or would the Knicks trust Karl-Anthony Towns to stay down, not get any silly fouls? Karl-Anthony Towns did that and then some. Look, Vic got his points because he's an NBA superstar. Those guys are going to find their way to points one way or another, but he never really put his imprint on the game on the offensive end of the floor. Big credit to Karl-Anthony Towns for that, who also, you know, quieter offensive game for him, but he made some buckets when they really needed him.